You see this girl sitting down here? This is the one I have been telling you about since camp. And the sweetest part? She cannot hear Igbo, so she doesn't understand a single word coming out of my mouth. This is the famous money girl, this small thing. The very one. Look at her pressing her phone like heaven is inside it. She thinks she is better than every single one of us. Yet too good to eat camp food, too good to wash her own clothes. And look at her hair very well. Look at the back. She does not even have hair on her own head. Yet every 2 weeks she's plating a brand new style. Plating and plating on top of nothing. Some people, Wait, you have not even heard the best part. I do not even like her, my sister. I am not her friend. I only keep her close because of one thing, money. Her account is always open and she does not check price for anything. So today, the amount I am charging her is double. Double. And she will just transfer it like the ordinary water. By the time I finish with this one, she will have built half of my salon for me and she will never even know.
Uche thought she had found a fool with a fat bank account. But the woman sitting down in her salon heard everything, remembered everything, and answered nothing until the right moment chose itself. This is the story of Lumi, and I need you to settle in. Let me take you back to where this whole thing began. In Nigeria, when you finish university, your country does not simply let you walk into the world. It asks 1 year of you first. They call it service. Every young graduate, no matter how brilliant, no matter whose child you are, must give 12 months to the nation. And it begins the same way for everyone. They gather thousands of fresh graduates from every corner of the country and they post you not to your own state, but to a strange one. A place where you may not know the language, the food, or a single human face. For the first 3 weeks, they put all of you together in one camp. White shirt, white short, white canvas shoes. You wake before the sun to the cry of a bugle. You march under a heat that has no mercy. You eat from the same pot. You sleep in long, crowded hostels, and you learn each other's names whether you like it or not. Camp is where strangers become family. It is also, sometimes, where strangers learn exactly who not to trust. That was where Lumi met Uche. Lumi had been posted far from home, to a quiet town in the east, an Igbo state, deep in a place where her own face was a stranger's face. She was a quiet girl, the kind who watched a room before she ever spoke in it. Back in her own state, she worked remotely for a company abroad, design and content, the kind of work that lived inside a laptop and a strong network signal. She had her own money, and with her own mind, and she had learned long ago that the people who talked the most were rarely the ones doing the most. She did not announce herself in camp, but people noticed her anyway. Her things were always neat, her phone was always busy with work even at odd hours, and she never seemed to be struggling for anything, which, in a camp full of Brook Corps members, made her shine whether she wanted to or not. Uche noticed her on the second day. Now, Uche was not posted to that state by accident. She was already a daughter of that soil, born and raised right there in the town. She was a hairstylist and a good one, with quick hands and a small salon she had been building for 2 years in the heart of the market road. When the posting letters came, Uche had pulled every string within her reach to make sure she served right there in her own state, a stone's throw from her own shop. Because to Uche, service year was never about the nation, it was about exposure. A camp full of young people was a camp full of future customers, and she intended to live with as many of them inside her phone as she could manage. So when Uche's eyes landed on the quiet girl with the steady money and the neat edges, Uche did what she did best. She smiled, she moved closer, and she made herself useful.
You are always working. Even in camp, you cannot rest. I respect that, honestly. Me, I am the same. I do hair. I have my own place in town, By God's grace, I built it myself. No man, no help, just me.
That was the sentence that opened Lumi's heart. Because Lumi respected one thing above almost everything else, a person who built something with their own 2 hands. A girl who owned her own salon at this age, who pulled herself up without waiting for a husband or a handout. That was somebody worth knowing. That is beautiful, Lumi said, and she meant it. It is not easy to build something for yourself. Not easy at all, Uche agreed, already braiding the friendship into place, row by row, the way she braided everything. We hard-working girls have to stick together in this life. And just like that, Lumi let her in. They became close in the way camp makes people close, quickly, intensely, and without much real knowing underneath it. 3 weeks is not enough time to know a person's true face. It is only enough time to learn the face they choose to show you. Lumi saw an ambitious, self-made young woman. She did not see what lived underneath because Uche was very, very careful never to let her see it. Remember that because it matters. In camp, you do not meet who a person is. You meet who they have decided to be for you. When the 3 weeks ended and everyone scattered to their postings across the state, Lumi made a decision that surprised even her. She decided to stay back in that town. The place suited her. It was quieter than the city she came from, the rent was kinder, and her work followed her wherever there was light and a signal. So she found a small, clean apartment not far from the town center, set her desk by the window, and continued her life. Laptop open before sunrise, money landing quietly into her account, no noise, no drama. Uche was thrilled. A friend with money now living close by. She could hardly believe her luck. "You have to come to my salon," Uche kept saying, every single time they spoke. Lumi, you have not even seen my work yet. Come and do your hair. Come and see what your friend can do for you. Lumi kept putting it off, not for any reason she could name. She was simply busy and her hair could wait. But Uche did not stop. She called, she texted, she begged. "Are you avoiding me? Am I not your friend? Just come this one time. And so, one quiet afternoon, mostly just to put an end to the begging, Lumi finally agreed. She did not know it yet, but she was walking straight into the moment that would show her exactly who Uche had been all along. Uche's salon sat along a busy street, a small place but a clean one, with 2 big mirrors, a row of chairs, and the thick, warm smell of hair products hanging in the air. When Lumi pushed the door open that afternoon, she found Uche already waiting and someone else with her. "Lumi, you came," Uche jumped up, all teeth and warmth. Come, sit down. I am so happy. This is my friend Mandy. Mandy, this is the Lumi I've been telling you about." Mandy looked Lumi up and down in one slow, smiling sweep, the kind of look that pretends to be friendly while it's busy pricing everything you're wearing. "So, this is Lumi," she said. "I've heard plenty about you." "Good things, I hope," Lumi said lightly and sat down. Of course, Uche laughed, draping the cape around her shoulders. "So, what are we doing today?" "A sewing," Lumi said. "Let us do a sewing." "Perfect choice. We start with the cornrows, then we install. Sit back, relax. You are in good hands, my friend." Lumi settled into the chair, pulled out her phone, and let her shoulders drop. Uche sectioned her hair, picked up the comb, and began the first row. Mandy pulled a chair close and sat down to keep company. For a few minutes, everything was ordinary. The scrape of the comb, the radio playing low, the easy small talk of a salon afternoon. Then, Mandy said something to Uche, and she said it in another language. It was not English. It was the language of that state, the tongue of the Igbo people, the very same language Lumi's mother had spoken to her since she was a baby in arms. Because here is the thing Uche never asked, and Lumi had no reason to mention. Lumi's mother was Igbo. Lumi had grown up hearing that language at home every day at home, scolded in it, loved in it, fed in it, prayed over in it. She understood it as well as she understood her own heartbeat. She simply did not come from that particular state. Her carried her father's name, and her quiet manner had never given anyone a reason to guess. So, when Mandy slid into the language, Lumi's first instinct was warm and automatic. She almost smiled. She almost opened her mouth to say, "You people are speaking my mother's tongue. I hear everything. My mom is from here too." But something stopped her. She could not explain it even to herself. A small, quiet voice at the back of her mind that simply said, "Wait, say nothing, just listen." So she did. She kept her eyes on her phone, kept her face soft and blank, and she listened. And what she heard, she would never forget. Mandy had only asked a simple question. "Is this the one?" she said in the language. "The girl from camp you have been talking about all this time?" "This is her," Uche replied in the same tongue, her hands never slowing. "The very one. And the best part is, she cannot hear a single thing we are saying. Speak freely. She does not understand one word." Lumi did not blink. She did not stop scrolling. Mandy said, leaning in, delighted. "So tell me about her now. You said she has money." "Money?" Uche laughed softly. "My sister, this girl does not even know what to do with money. In camp, this one refused to eat camp food, Refused completely. Everybody was managing the same beans, the same rice. But Madame here was ordering food from Mami Market 3 times every single day, like a small queen. Spending, anyhow she likes. Pride. Pure pride. And washing, she would not wash her own clothes with her own hands. There were people in camp washing for small money, and she would just bundle her things and pay them, as if her fingers are too delicate to touch water, as if she is better than every one of us. Mandy clicked her tongue. Some people, eh? Wait, I have not even told you the best one. Uche's voice dropped lower, sweeter, crueler. Look at her hair very well. Look at the back. Look well. Mandy leaned and looked, pretending to admire, then turned away to hide her smile. This girl, Uche went on, does not even have hair at the back of her head. It is thin, almost finished, scanty like Hamatan grass. But every week, every single time, she is carrying a new hairstyle. Today braids, tomorrow weave, next week something else again. Plating and plating on top of nothing. If you have money, fine, you have money. But at least grow your own hair first before you start forming. The two of them laughed, low and easy, right above Lumi's bowed head. Lumi's thumb kept moving across her screen. She did not pause. She did not flinch. Inside, something cold and very calm was quietly taking notes. And what does she even do for all this money? Where is it coming from? Mandy asked. That is the funniest part, Uche said. She works on a laptop. Remote, that is what she calls it. She sits down in her house pressing computer and money is just entering her account. Can you imagine? She does not stand on her feet for 10 hours like us. She does not break her back. She does not burn her fingers. She does not smell of spray and singed hair by closing time. She does not eat hair in her food at least once a day. She just sits down, comfortable, fan blowing on her, pressing keyboard. That is not work, that is play. And that is exactly why she does not value money at all. When you do not suffer for a thing, you cannot respect it. True talk, Mandy nodded. If she knew what real hard work feels like, she would not be throwing money around anyhow. Exactly. So me, I have a plan. Uche's smile widened in the mirror, though Lumi did not look up to catch it. This her hair. The price I am charging her today is double. Double, my friend. And she will not even notice. She will just transfer it like it is ordinary water. And I will keep doing it every single time she comes. Why not? God has sent me a customer who does not check price. Who am I to refuse a blessing from above? Mandy laughed so hard she had to hold her own chest. You are wicked. You are too much, Uche. It is not wickedness, it is business. And let me be honest with you, since the girl cannot hear, I do not even like her. I have never liked her. The way she carries herself, that quiet pride of hers, it irritates my spirit. But money is money, so I will keep her close, I will keep smiling in her face, I will keep collecting. As long as her account is open, she is my best friend in this world. The day the money stops, that is the very day the friendship will die. You are a smart girl, Mandy said, encouraging her like petrol on fire. Use what you have. These big money people, they think we are stupid. They think because they have small dollars, the rest of us should bow down for them. Bleed her well. Don't worry, Uche said, patting another section with a flourish. By the time I am finished with this one, she would have built half of this salon for me without even knowing it. She is paying for my next dryer. She is paying for my generator. She just hasn't realized it yet. And the two of them laughed again. And through all of it, every word, every cackle, every cruel little joke about her hair and her walk and her so-called pride, Lumi sat. She scrolled. She breathed slowly. She said absolutely nothing. She had heard everything. And quietly, completely, she had already decided everything. Now, before I tell you what Lumi did next, and trust me, no one in that salon was ready for it, let me ask you something. Have you ever sat quietly in a room while people insulted you, not knowing that you understood every single word they were saying? Have you ever watched somebody smile sweetly to your face while they sharpen the knife behind their back? If you have, drop one sentence in the comments right now. Just type, I can relate. That single sentence, so I know you have stood where Lumi stood. And tell me, at this exact point in the story, What would you have done? Would you have shouted? Would you have stood up and walked out? Or would you have stayed calm like Lumi? Let me read your answers. And before we continue, hit the subscribe button below. Uche walked for hours. The cornrows went down neat and tight, line after clean line. Then the wefts went in, row after row, the sewing slowly taking shape under her quick practice fingers. And she was good. Lumi could not deny that even now. The hair was coming out beautiful. By the time the last weft was sewn in place, and Uche reached for the scissors to trim and shape it, the afternoon light had turned golden through the salon windows. There, Uche said, fluffing it out, beaming into the mirror with all her false sugary warmth. See? Did I lie? You look like $1 million, my friend. A whole million. $1 million. Lumi almost smiled at that one. It is lovely, Lumi said quietly. You really do have good hands. Anything for my friend, Uche sang. Behind her, Mandy smiled down into her phone. Lumi reached into her bag and brought out her own phone. Calm, unhurried, she pressed a contact, lifted it to her ear, and waited 2 rings. And then she began to speak. Not in English, in the language. The very same language Uche and Mandy had been swimming in all afternoon. Fluent, warm, easy, perfect. The tongue flowing out of Lumi's mouth like clean water that had always lived there. Mommy, she said in flawless Igbo, smiling gently. Yes, I am at the salon now. I just finished my hair. No, I am fine. I will tell you everything when I get home. You will not believe the kind of day I had today, Mommy. You will not believe it at all. The salon went silent. Not quiet, silent. The kind of silence where you could have heard a single pin drop from the ceiling all the way to the floor. Uche's hand froze in the air, scissors and all. Mandy's head came up slowly from her phone, the smile sliding off her face like wet paint down a wall. Lumi kept talking, soft and unbothered, telling her mother about her day in clear, perfect Igbo, while the 2 women stood frozen behind her, the full and terrible understanding crawling up their spines inch by inch by inch. She understood. She had understood the whole time. Every word, every joke about her hair, every laugh, every wicked little plan. When Lumi finally said her goodbyes to her mother and lowered the phone, she did not raise her voice. She did not need to. She simply turned, looked Uche dead in the eyes through the mirror, and spoke, this time in clear, calm English. My mother is Igbo. I have spoken this language since before I could even walk. So everything you said today, from the very first word to the very last, I heard it, all of it. Every single bit. You could watch the blood drain out of Uche's face. Lumi, she started. Don't. Lumi raised one finger gently. You talked for 3 hours straight. Now it is my turn and you will let me finish. Uche's mouth closed. You said I do not work hard, Lumi began, her voice steady, low and clear. I work 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day with my mind, with my brain. I create things out of nothing. I solve problems that companies on the other side of the world pay me good money to solve because they cannot solve them themselves. That is a skill. That is not everybody's portion in this life. You think because there is no sweat on my forehead, there is no work being done? The hardest work in this whole world happens in the place where you cannot see it. She let that sit in the air. You said I waste money. No, I know exactly what every Myra of mine is doing. I did not eat camp food because I have a sensitive stomach and I chose my health over your pride. I paid people to wash my clothes because my time is worth more than the hours I would lose scrubbing, and that same money fed somebody's family that month. I know the kind of life I want and I am building it smartly, on purpose, with both my eyes wide open. What you call waste, I call choices. There is a difference between the two. You just cannot see it from where you are standing. Then Lumi turned her eyes slowly to Mandy, who was now studying the floor very, very hard. And you, Lumi said, you do not even know me. You sat down here and helped a person spoil the name of someone you have never met in your life, laughing, encouraging, adding pepper to the soup. You two suit each other perfectly. You know why? Because you are both snakes. The only difference between you is that one of you happens to be holding a comb." The room was so quiet it almost hurt to breathe in it. "You said," Lumi continued, turning back to Uche, "that you would keep me close for as long as possible, that you are not really my friend, you only want my money. Well, I have good news for you, Uche." She smiled, and there was nothing warm left in it. "As long as possible is today. This right here is the last day." Uche's lips trembled. "Lumi, please, let me explain. It was just talk. We were only joking. "There is one more thing," Lumi said, reaching up and lightly touching the beautiful sewing Uche had just spent 3 hours installing. "I do not want this in my hair. I do not want your hands, your words, or your dirty energy sitting on top of my head, following me home, sleeping where I sleep. So you are going to take it out. All of it. Now." For a long moment, Uche did not move. Her eyes were wet, her face hot with shame, and Mandy beside her had gone completely silent, suddenly very interested in the direction of the door. But Lumi only looked at her and waited, calm, settled, a woman who knew exactly what she wanted and was in no hurry whatsoever to get it. And so Uche, the hairstylist who had bragged about charging double, who had laughed about a future dryer paid for by a fool, Uche picked up her scissors with shaking hands and began to take it out, weft by weft, row by row, undoing her own work, all those hours of it, in front of her silent friend and her silent salon. Her cheeks burned the entire time. She did not say one single word. There was nothing left in her mouth to say. When the last cornrow was finally loosened and Lumi's own hair, thin at the back and all, was free again, Lumi stood up. She straightened her clothes. She brought out her phone one last time. "How much is a sew in here?" she asked. "The real price, the normal price, not the price for fools." Uche named the true amount in a voice barely louder than a breath. Lumi transferred it, exactly that, not 1 naira more, no tip, no extra, just what the service was honestly worth, and absolutely nothing for the disrespect. "Thank you for the lesson," Lumi said. "It was very educational." Then she picked up her bag, walked to the door, and left the salon without once looking back. If that moment gave you chills, you are not alone, my friend. So do me one quick favor right now. If you're enjoying this story and you want to see more like it, tap that subscribe button and tell me the honest truth in the comments. Was Lumi right? Should she have taken out the entire sewing, or should she have just left it in her hair and walked quietly? Some of you are going to say she should have collected her hair and gone. Some will say she shouldn't have even paid anything, and others will say she did exactly the right thing. Let me hear your voice. And if you have ever had to walk away from a fake friend who only ever wanted what they could squeeze out of you, type "I can relate." Tell us your story and let us see how many of us there really are. Lumi went home that evening, washed the whole day off her skin, and slept well. By morning, she was right back at her desk, laptop open, sunlight on the wall, money landing quietly in her account, exactly as before. She did not call anyone to gossip. She did not post a single word about it online. She simply closed that chapter the way she closed everything in her life, quietly, completely, and she moved on. That's the thing about people who carry real peace. They don't need to make noise about their enemies. They simply stop giving them a seat at the table. But Uche's story did not end so gently. Because here is what Uche forgot in all her cleverness. She had spent that whole afternoon laughing freely with a snake. And a snake does not bite only the strangers. Mandy, the friend she trusted, the one she had gossiped with so openly, turned out to be exactly the kind of person Lumi had called her to her face. Within days, Mandy was carrying the story all over the town, but not the true story. In Mandy's mouth, it became something else entirely, something bigger, something juicier. You will not believe what happened in Uche's salon. Uche was there insulting a customer in Igbo, calling the poor girl a fool to her face, planning to overcharge her double, and the babe understood every single word, everything. She disgraced Uche inside her own salon, made her remove the whole hair she had just finished fixing. I was there, I saw it with my 2 eyes. She told it at other salons. She told it at parties. She told it to customers, to friends of customers, to anyone with 2 working ears. And every single time she told it, Uche shrank a little smaller in the eyes of the town. Now, word travels fast in a small town. Soon, the same women who used to fill Uche's chairs began to think twice. Because who wants to sit down for 3 long hours in a salon where the stylist might be insulting you in a language you do not speak? Who wants to hand over their head and their hard-earned money to a woman who calls her own customers fools behind their backs? Who laughs at the hair they're supposed to be styling and caring for? The hair they're supposed to make the customers feel good about? One by one, the appointments thinned out. The regulars quietly found other salons. The bright little shop Uche had built with her own 2 hands grew quieter, and then it grew quieter still. The same mouth Uche used so freely to spoil Lumi's name had now, through Mandy, been used to spoil her very own name. And the friend she chose, the snake she kept close because they laughed at the same cruel jokes, that very friend was the one who finished her. Because a person who gossips with you about others will always in the end gossip about you to others. The tongue that enjoys spoiling one name today is only practicing for yours tomorrow. Uche learned that lesson the hardest way there is, in the very chair where she once thought she was so clever.
As for Lumi, she never went back. She never needed to. Her hair grew, slowly, the way real things grow. Her walk flourished, her peace stayed whole and untouched. And somewhere across that same town, in a salon that grew emptier by the month, a clever girl sat alone and replayed an afternoon she could never, ever undo. Lumi had not raised her voice. She had not fought. She had not even been cruel. She had simply listened and waited, and then, at exactly the right moment, allowed 2 people to face the full weight of their own words. Because that is the truth so many people learn far too late. Quietness is not foolishness. The fact that someone is not talking does not mean that they are not listening, and the language you think is your secret weapon may turn out to be the mother tongue of the very person you decided to underestimate. Never insult the river while your feet are still in the water. You never know who taught the river how to swim. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the very end. It truly means everything to me that you sat through this whole story. If it touched you, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you have not done so yet, join our growing family by subscribing. And do not go anywhere just yet. There's another story waiting for you right now on your screen. Another tale of quiet people, sharp lessons, and justice that arrives at exactly the right time. Go ahead and tap on it. I promise you it is worth every single minute. I will see you there.